Hello there, I'm Lloyd Evans. Welcome to The Bunker. It's time for another voicemail. Today's voicemail is from Helena. Let's listen to what Helena has to say.
Hey Lloyd, my name's Helena. I'm one of your Patreons and long-time supporter. Love your work. I have a question. Do you ever feel that you or your life could be threatened by Watchtower? Do you think they'd ever come after you in that type of Scientology way? And if so, what precautions have you taken? Because quite honestly, I'm not really sure I'd put it past them when this kind of big money and bad advertising is involved. I just really don't trust them at all. Um, but anyway, hopefully you do stay safe and look after your lovely little family and keep doing what you're doing. We all support you, Lloyd. All right, short and sweet. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that message, Helena. Thank you for your support of my work as a patron. Goes without saying that this is hugely appreciated and is helping me do what I'm doing on the scale that I'm doing it. So thank you so much indeed. As to your question, do I ever fear perhaps underhanded reprisals, maybe even violent reprisals? It does sort of cross your mind sometimes because I'm aware of how seriously they take all this, and I'm also aware of how deluded they are. When you have deluded people who believe they speak for God, who believe they're doing God's will, well, we all know where that sort of fanaticism can lead. And yes, in many cases, I don't need to spell them out, that level of fanaticism has led to people taking other people's lives. Do I consider it a risk that the governing body could send a hitman to finish me off? I suppose it's always a possibility, but in terms of probability, it's extremely low. It's low enough for me to not live in fear that they would do that. I think that their brand of cultish fanaticism precludes that sort of behaviour. Again, I wouldn't write it off completely because, as you say, there's lots of money involved here. It's possible, as my channel grows and as other activists enter the scene and their channels grow, it's possible that they're really feeling this in their pocketbook. You know, they're seeing an effect financially from the work that myself and other ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. The problem is, well, first of all, it's clearly going against the Bible command, thou shalt not kill. You know, how do you take this seriously? How do you take this religion seriously and yet excuse yourself when it comes to violating a command to the point of committing the crime of murder? So there's that whole side of things. But also, what does that say about your reliance on Jehovah? Isn't Jehovah supposed to be protecting the organization? Isn't he supposed to be ultimately sorting these issues out? Shouldn't he be riding to the rescue if needed? What would it say about their faith in Jehovah if they need to take that sort of action on Jehovah's behalf? So I think that the delusion is a concern, but the delusion is also sort of a protection because they believe their own BS. They also, you could say, are wary of displeasing the God that they claim to represent. So I don't know. I'm just spitballing, I guess. Basically, I can find many reasons to maybe not entirely dismiss this possibility, but certainly not dwell on it and not let it control me or make me feel as though I need to be silent. I always take my safety and security seriously, and obviously the safety and security of my family. When we go away places, I don't broadcast where we're going to. I do obviously say sometimes, oh, we're on PAG or that kind of thing. Maybe as the channel grows more in the future, I need to be a bit more wary about giving away my location, and that's something that Deanna sometimes talks to me about, because she follows other YouTubers who have really suffered from stalkers due to giving away their location. So yeah, that's sort of a conversation that Deanna and I have, and certainly as the channel continues to grow, it will become more and more of a consideration. But broadly speaking, I like to think that I do take the safety and security of my family seriously, but realistically, I don't think the governing body are that stupid, quite frankly. And also, they would be going down a road of essentially whack-a-mole, because there's so many activists now. I'm not the only one. You know, I've interviewed so many on this channel who are doing fantastic work, some of whom have started out very recently. I was really pleased to chat with Harrison Kotha recently. He's doing amazing work. If you embark down this road of trying to silence people through violence, you know, how many people are you going to target? There's just so many of us now that it would be like whack-a-mole if you started pursuing that strategy. And also, of course, if anything were to happen to me, whether because of reprisals from cults or just because I die for whatever reason, my channel's going nowhere, isn't it? I have this entire back catalogue of hundreds of videos that will hopefully be there indefinitely, because a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, yes, the religion continually changes. Yes, it's important to keep up with the latest teachings and the latest developments, but most of the stuff I'm talking about is essentially timeless in terms of Jehovah's Witness thinking and Jehovah's Witness ideology and the danger posed by cults. So it's not as simple even as getting rid of someone once they have created like this body of work that can survive their death. And I think that's another thing that would factor in, even if they were to embark on this sadistic line of thought, they would have to factor in that, you know, what would it really achieve? First of all, you'd be martyring the person, and second of all, the videos would still be there, so it would be for nothing. You would be committing a crime and making yourself vulnerable to prosecution without really having achieved anything. So it's been an interesting sort of logical exercise answering your question, and I do appreciate your question, and it has occurred to me in the past, and maybe other viewers might have thought about it, perhaps briefly, but no, it isn't something that I spend too much time thinking about. I think that there is an army of activists at this point, and we won't be silenced, whether through punitive measures in the form of shunning, whether through legal threats. I've received a cease and desist letter from Watchtower back in, was it 2018? Nothing that they do, the hate speech dossier, nothing that they try is going to silence me. I'll still be carrying on. The only thing that's going to stop me is if I die for whatever reason, or if I just feel as though there's something else that I need to do with my life. Maybe I reach a point where I've basically done what I set out to do and it's time to do other things, but I'm not at that stage yet. I feel as though there's still quite a bit to contribute, and when I have the backing of patrons like yourself, that really motivates me to press on and not let anything or anyone intimidate me. So I hope that answers your question. Thanks once again for calling in. If you would like to leave a voicemail, the thing to do is go to speakpipe.com/Cedars, remembering to indicate clearly if you don't want me to broadcast your message on my channel. But that's all I have time for. Don't forget to subscribe to the Lloyd Evans channel for more such videos. And as always, thank you for watching.